The following presentation will provide information on trends in discipline and the disciplinary report for Chatham High School for the 2018-19 school year. There are two major takeaways from this year. The number of HIV investigations and confirmed incidents of HIV have decreased significantly over last year. The second takeaway is that vaping continues to be a concern at Chatham High School. While a student health survey was done this year, we don't yet have the results, but we do believe that there has been an increase in vaping among students. As a result, the Board of Education has updated the smoking policy, and we have also increased the amount of information provided through the 9th grade health curriculum to address these concerns. The next few slides will show some typical infractions that students might commit at the high school, as well as typical discipline that would be assigned. Discipline can range from warnings to detentions to Saturday school to out-of-class suspensions or out-of-school suspensions. One area that I would like to highlight is the change in our smoking policy and the discipline that would be assigned for an infraction of that policy. In previous years, possession of any kind of smoking paraphernalia was addressed with a Saturday school on the first offense. With our updated policy, it is now addressed with an out-of-school suspension on the first offense. This will go into effect in September, and we hope that it will have a positive impact on our students reducing the vaping behavior. In the next slide, you can see the incidence versus our student enrollment. Each infraction has been mapped to a label of either discipline type or file type, and the numbers that you see here are for the discipline type infractions. These are incidents such as cutting class, cell phone use, inappropriate language, or disruptive behavior. Out of our 1,310 students, we had 266 total incidents, which across our entire student body would work out to 0.203 incidents per student. However, we know that not all of our students commit disciplinary infractions. On the next slide, you can see that 167 students committed one or more disciplinary infractions, which works out to 12.7% of our student body. 7 students out of 1,310 committed 5 or more incidents, which is 0.53% of the student body. There were 6 students who committed between 5 and 10 incidents, which is 0.45% of our student body. Usually, students who commit multiple incidents are committing such infractions as cell phone violations, class cuts, inappropriate language, or disruptive behavior in the classroom. We had 1 student out of the 1,310 who committed between 11 and 19 incidents. And it's important to note that when students do commit multiple incidents, we're working with counselors, parents, administrators, and the student to provide as much support as we possibly can to address the behavior. This slide indicates SSDS incidents, which are student safety data incidents that must be reported to the state. Examples include confirmed HIV incidents, substance use incidents, fights, and damage to property or vandalism. This year, we had 3 confirmed HIV incidents as opposed to 10 last year. We had 3 confirmed substance use incidents, which was the same as last year. We had an increase in the number of fights, where we had 6 this year versus 3 last year. And we had 4 incidents of damage to school property this year. On this slide, you can see the out-of-school suspensions for our students. We had 14 students who received 1 out-of-school suspension, 1 student who received more than 1 out-of-school suspension. In the 15-16 school year, we had 17 students who were identified as under the influence at a school event. We've had no students identified as under the influence at school events since then, and we attribute that to the use of our breathalyzer and the updated policy. On this slide, you can see our disciplinary infraction offenders broken down by grade and gender. In this current school year, males comprise 75.7% of the offenders. Females comprise 24.3% of the offenders. The grades were evenly distributed, with 9th grade students comprising 25.4% of the offenders, grade 10 students 27.3%, grade 11 students 22.3%, and grade 12 24.8%. The other type of disciplinary infractions are known as file type infractions, and these include such things as being late to school, late to class, not signing in, and failure to follow procedure. This year, we had 505 of these file type incidents on record and 277 students who were involved in these incidents. Students who commit multiple file type infractions are usually habitually late to school and/or class, and there are a number of actions that we take to try to address these issues. For example, we send home letters. They're generated automatically at benchmark totals for lates and absences. Detentions are assigned at certain benchmark totals, and provisional credit and loss of credit are assigned to students also who reach those benchmark totals. We have student conferences with administrators and counselors. We contact parents via email, phone, and conference. And if needed, when needed, we file truancy complaints with the local municipal court. The next slide indicates academic integrity violations. This year, we had 27 reported cheating incidents involving 27 students. That works out to 2.0% of our student body. There was one student who committed more than one incident. This year's HIV information shows that we've had a significant drop in the number of investigations as well as confirmed HIV incidents. Last year, there were 19 investigations, with 7 confirmed being harassment, intimidation, or bullying. This year, we've had 4 investigations between September 1st and the present. 3 of them were confirmed to be harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Last year's offenders included 4 freshmen, 5 juniors, and 2 seniors. This year's offenders included 2 sophomores and 1 junior. It's important to add that this year in September, the board updated policy 5512 to reflect that the principal has the authority to use discretion as to whether a reported incident, assuming that all facts were true, would meet the definition of bullying and thus be investigated as such. If not, the reported incident would be investigated fully, but as code of conduct. And at the high school, there were 6 times this year that principal's discretion was exercised, so that those incidents were not part of a full HIV investigation, but were investigated as code of conduct. The next slide indicates the source of our HIV reports this year. We had 4 reports of HIV that were investigated. All 4 came from students, and 3 out of those 4 were confirmed to be HIV. The identifying characteristics that were part of those HIV confirmed incidents were 2 involving disability status and 1 involving both physical characteristics and sexual orientation as part of the same incident. And finally, there are a number of strategies that Chatham High School uses to try to support the culture of acceptance and respect, including the following. Our Links Peer Mentor program, where upperclassmen work with freshmen as part of the health curriculum to talk about expectations for behavior and character development here at the high school. Our new student ambassador program that assists new students to the school in transitioning to Chatham High School. The Week of Respect, which takes place during the first week in October. This year we hosted Challenge Day once again. It was held on December 5th. We have club-sponsored events such as the Day of Silence, which was sponsored by the Gender Sexuality Alliance. Respect Weeks and special events are sponsored by our Learn Unified, Play Unified Club. We implement consequences and remedial measures such as counseling for any students who are involved in HIV incidents, and we continue to include related topics across the curriculum such as tolerance and respect. Thank you.